Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update. Friday, March 22nd, 9 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. A major space weather event is occurring right now. A combined coronal mass ejection from two sunspot regions, AR3614 and AR3615, are combining to affect Earth-facing X1.12, and we need some hours to figure out what that means for us here on Earth. Keep calm. It's boom time. Hail covers Texas roads as thunderstorms move through the region. There was record hail all over the U.S., and we have some numbers for you here from the hail map for Thursday, March 21st. 114,000 impacted by hail 1 inch or larger, and 131 square miles impacted with hail 1.75 inches or larger. Holy macaroni, the hail season is in full effect. Multi-day severe weather threat looms over the central U.S. Large hail, torrential downpours, damaging wind, gusts, and tornadoes are possible for parts of the Great Plains to a large portion of the Mississippi Valley from late Sunday into Monday. Here we have the severe weather potential April 1st through the 3rd. Are you kidding me? Those are not the right dates. Here is the severe thunderstorm threat late Sunday night through late Sunday p.m. through Sunday night, Wichita south to Abilene, and that's going to move east with a severe thunderstorm threat Monday and Monday night from Houston all the way north to St. Louis. A huge line of thunderstorms could be moving through there. Severe weather threat for the tip of Florida as well. Here's the forecast. A couple of strong storms to impact the lower 48. Heavy rain and a few thunderstorms will impact the eastern seaboard through Saturday. For portions of New England, heavy snow and strong winds are expected. Could be 16 inches for a wide swath through 4 states. That is their spring fate. For the Intermontane West, large complex storm is forecast to develop and track across the plains this weekend. Strong winds, heavier mountain snow, and lower elevation rain are expected. Snowfall intensity increases for the plains on Sunday. It's insane. So let's take a look at that severe weather threat and walk it through. You can see currently here is, what are we looking at here? Saturday. Severe weather threat for the tip of Florida as well as the southeast as the storms move through, mainly in Georgia and South Carolina there, and the coast as well as New England. Look at how heavy the snow this weekend is going to be pouring on the back end of this nor'easter. So we could even see some thunder snow here in the likes of Connecticut, maybe even Rhode Island. Could be pretty fantastic. Very heavy snow on the back end is going to bring heavy totals to the northeast, maybe even record-breaking, as winter storms move through spring, ding, through the Four Corners region and the northern tier, and they will be bringing some heavy totals there as well. Let's take a look at the GFS model and walk it through. Here is Saturday through Sunday morning. Lots of snow is going to be on the ground halfway through the weekend. A huge swath of 16 to 24 inches in the northeast. Maine is going to be the hardest hit, but it is going to be the southern areas of the states of Vermont and New Hampshire that take the brunt of the storm there. Heavy snow, 16 inches or more, also will be moving into the Sierras through Sunday morning. Here is Sunday through Monday morning. By that time, a system moving across the northern tier is going to be bringing some heavy totals to North and South Dakota, as well as Minnesota, Nebraska, Wisconsin. Take a look at that. Could be 2 feet or more in some pinpoint regions. As the spring, ding, doesn't look so good for Al Gore, now does it? Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. Al Gore is not happy with the fact that it's still snowing in record numbers. 2,000 earthquakes in one day off Canada coast? Holy macaroni. Now, we reported on this last week, but it's time to get our facts in order. 2,000 earthquakes in one day off the Canada coast. Of the most, is it actually an eruption? Is there a subsurface volcano? Well, actually, this suggests that the ocean floor is ripping apart at a subduction zone, which is mid-ocean rifting, which is not really spectacular volcanism in any way you can think about it, but it is volcanism nonetheless. And it also leads credence to the theory of expanding Earth. And record earthquake activity off the coast of Vancouver Island is hinting at the birth of new oceanic crust and a very active portion of the mid-ocean ridge. Nothing more. Seismic update. Here we are taking a look at the map as a whole. And that coronal hole warning resulted in nothing more than a 6.4 in Indonesia up at the surface, which is good news. We didn't need a lot of activity as there is activity kicking up on the sun. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Reykjanes volcano update. Protective barrier levels ordered raised as lava threatens to overflow and enter the town of Grindavik. We warned about this 48 hours ago, but it's now just hitting the mainstream. Of course, we are way ahead of the curve here. Scientists and authorities now express their first concerns about lava entering the town of Grindavik when we entered the concerns 2 days ago. Mark my words, go check our work. Artificial protective walls continue to successfully redirect the lava away from the town. However, the molten rock might overflow the barriers and enter the town soon. To prevent the lava from arriving, a decision was made to raise the barrier levels today. Good news! And construction was scheduled immediately. Worldwide Volcano News Update as we wait for the failure, and hopefully not failure, of those berms. Tinakulu volcano in the Solomon Islands continues to erupt with lava flows from the summit vent, as you can see it glowing here from Sentinel. Popo today, some volcanic ash seen. Manam getting quite active at 10,000 feet. Ibu to 12,000. Nevado de Ruiz, 21,000 feet today. Suanosima to 4,000 feet. Semaru to 15,000. Popo to 20,000. Fuego to 15. Did I say that already? And now Reykjanes scientists and authorities express concerns about that berms. Space weather news, big story. The two sunspot regions, AR 3416 and 3615, just produced solar flares at nearly the same time. The collective X1.12 X-ray event peaked at 1:33 UTC, which is just about moments ago. March 23rd, the event around AR 3614 here appears to be the brighter of the two, and coronal dimming was clearly evident, meaning a coronal mass ejection is definitely coming towards Earth from this flare. And we won't have any of the details until early in the morning when the telemetry comes up, because NASA hides this information with like a 6-hour buffer. And then if it's bad news for Earth, they'll scrub it completely for days and we'll never get to it. So stay tuned for updates on the modeling as they will be coming in shortly. Yeah, here we are at ISWA, which is the first model to bring up any of the new data, and it's showing nothing, which means that we're going to have a long wait for this X1.12 solar flare. It is a moderate duration, it's not impulsive, and it did produce coronal dimming, which means a coronal mass ejection is on the way. A strong R3 level radio blackout occurred over much of Asia. Oh no, that looks like Kamchatka, Japan, and parts of eastern China, as well as the Philippines, etc. But my face is in the way here. And all of Australia in a radio blackout as well, as we move around the square. Here is the ghost X-ray flux of the event, and we're going to need several hours before we can give you good information on that, and if you maybe need to prepare for what's coming. You can view a nova explosion here as a new star in the Northern Crown produces another nova flare. A star system located 3,000 light years away from Earth is predicted to become visible to the unaided eye soon once again. This could be a once-in-a-lifetime viewing opportunity, as the nova outburst only occurs about every 80 years. T Corona Borealis, or TCRB, last exploded in 1946, and astronomers believe it will do so again between February and September of this year. Well, how do you like them apples? Now, this is a type of supernova that has been well explained in the literature, where you have a red dwarf and a white dwarf that are rotating around each other, and one cannibalizes material from the other through this micronova or supernova process. This has nothing to do with Earth. It has nothing to do with our solar system, and it does not prove anything that our sun can do this, period. So, did you just pick up what I put down? I hope so. Couple more interesting articles to go tonight, and I think you'll be fascinated. No, can we just refresh this? My God. Alrighty. Why does a solar eclipse move west to east? A lot of people are saying because it's flat Earth, and they're lying to us. No, it's just because you have no idea about what's going on with the sun and the moon. The moon rotates counterclockwise around the Earth, the same way the Earth spins. It rotates with the Earth, only slower. And so it's going the opposite direction as the sun appears. So as the sun is coming from east to west, the moon is moving from west to east. And they cross. And that creates a west to east pattern of the eclipse as it races across the country in less than an hour of power. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. A glimpse at the map of the April 2024 North American solar eclipse, however, shows a path from west to east. What gives? The answer lies in the relationship between the rotation of Earth and the orbit of the moon. But the arrangement can be a bit tricky to visualize, especially if you can't visualize at all. So, what I described to you is antithetical to what you believe. The moon rotates with the Earth in a counterclockwise fashion, albeit slower. It takes the moon almost a month to get around the Earth once, when the Earth's spinning 30 times in that process. So the moon is slowly spinning counterclockwise with us. And the sun is essentially stationary in a faraway position, and it is rising and setting relative to our spinning. It's not actually spinning around us. The Earth is spinning. But I do digress. I hope that answers some questions on why does a solar eclipse move west to east, and very rapidly. Now, a study claiming that Gunung Padang in Indonesia was, or is it Indonesia? Yeah, Gunung Padang. Wherever Gunung Padang is, yes, it's in Indonesia. It's not the oldest pyramid ever. The paper was garbage, just like Leah and I dissected it about 2 months ago when it came out. We said that they are liars, and that the date they claimed to be a surface that dated the pyramid back to 22,000 years ago was nothing more than soil, which is why the paper was retracted, because the paper's authors were not scientists, and they're liars. And so you get what you get. But still, there are millions of people on YouTube that watched hundreds of different videos claiming that this pyramid is 22,000 years old, because the people that created the videos are not smart, and they didn't even read the 13-page paper. Therein lies the problem with all science, all propaganda, and almost all mainstream media articles. They never read the paper. But Leah and I do, so that's why you follow our channel. Now, a new discovery at Easter Island could rewrite the history as we know it. They did some carbon dating on the Rongo tablets, which, by the way, are some of the oldest wood artifacts around that have alphabets on them. They've never really been dated specifically, but some of the wood in the Rongo date before the first European settlers came to Eastern Island, proving that this language may be the only language independently developed by natives out of nothing, meaning most languages evolve from earlier versions of languages and they split apart, etc. But the Rongo tablet might prove, based on carbon dating, that it was created independently with nothing to start from. And that would be spectacular. A newly discovered Australian beetle almost mistaken for bird poo. And you can see why. The link will be below. The right to grow food. Did you think that was an intrinsic right? No. In fact, they're banning it in many states and regions. You can't grow food in your front yard. You can't grow food in your backyard. And if you're Amish and you have a food club, we're going to raid you and steal all of your products because you need to eat the poison food that multinational corporations provide you in those hubs that we call supermarkets. It's all garbage. You want to know who's not garbage? Republican Representative Tom Massey, the gun-toting farmer, permaculturalist, and just all-around generally awesome guy, is presenting an amendment to the U.S. Constitution that would ensure Americans have the legal right to grow and distribute their own food. Who knew? Now you do. I mean, who would have thunk that that needed to be written into our Constitution? And here is the quote. The right of the people to grow food and purchase food from the source of their choice shall not be infringed, and Congress shall make no law regulating the production and distribution of food products which do not move across state lines. Which means if you grow it in your state, it can stay in your state, and anyone in the state can buy it, regardless of any regulations. There have been calls to ban private gardening in the name of climate change, and that is just part of the dystopian nonsense that Representative Tom Massey is sticking his foot up the of. Do you think you have the right to grow food? I do. Leave a comment below. Now, more insanity. Scientists warn about hydrogen, which was once thought to save the world from climate change and global warming and the dangerous carbon dioxide molecule, which, by the way, is plant food and does not cause heating. Scientists now warn that hydrogen could turn against us and worsen global warming. It just keeps getting dumber. Here's more dumbness. Green fingers, urgent warning to gardeners. As the mainstream narrative warns that gardening increases the risk of heart disease. Yep. If you read the article, it says that toxins in the soil actually increase the risk of killer heart disease. So if you're gardening in an area without toxic soil, you'll be fine. But they don't allude to that in the title, do they? Because they don't expect anyone to read the article, which is, by the way, a short article. If you want to actually garden and learn how to be food secure, yeah, we're talking peace of mind here. This is not prepper mentality. This is the agrarian mentality. In 1900, 90% of the population in the United States could feed themselves based on what they were growing in their backyard. Today, less than 1%. That means when the grid goes down due to the combined effects of the multiple coronal mass ejections coming off the sun, perhaps, you won't be dead because you'll have seeds and you'll know how to provide for your family. Over 258 varieties of vegetables in stock, hundreds of herbs and flowers as well, and they are the cheapest non-GMO, open-pollinated organic seeds on the planet. Join the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers, where you can get all seed varieties for just $2 per pack. 10% off if you put in ORP 2024 as a coupon code. And that is spectacular savings. Now, tomorrow, Lee and I will hit up the cataclysmic polarity shift. Is the U.S. national security prepared for the next geomagnetic pole reversal? The paper that we talked about last week that got over 12,000 views in a week, we are going to do part 2 and finish the last half of the paper. We might also gloat about the fact that we were right, that Penang Garang is not 22,000 years old. And that's a boom to knowledge. The San Luis Valley Seed Exchange is happening next weekend, and we hope you can join us in Moffett, Colorado. The event is free, and you will get as many free seeds as you need. Please share this video as we are shadow banned. We need your help to grow. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. Be safe, and we'll have an update tomorrow on the multiple solar flares and the X1.12 coronal mass ejection headed our way. Be safe.